Going, I guess, 7 o'clock. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to come to the meeting. Agenda is in front of us. There is two things I would like to add to the agenda. If that's all right. 5.2 end of the day summary. 5.3 terms of reference question. Terms of reference question. Everybody okay with the additions to the agenda? Do I need approval for that, Gary? For the two additions? Approval for the two additions into the agenda. Mr. Mayor, thank you. Seconded by Bart, thank you. All in favor? All in favor? Thank you.
Seconded that.
Gordon. I have a motion here that the minutes be adopted by the Special Events Committee dated July 4th, 2023. Moved by Jill, seconded by Alex. All in favor? Carries, thank you. Guess I should have asked, you do have the minutes in front of you. If there's anything that's glaring, speak out on that. No, carried. Okay, moving on, 5.1 water ball safety day. I'll be honest, a bit of a challenge in planning. With less than 2 weeks out to the event, not 100% sure what's happening, if we're having one or we're not having one. We have touched base with up to 16 fire departments or stations in the area. Waiting to hear back on confirmation from most of them. Jill and I, we got together, drafted a letter to go out to all the departments, basically reminding them of the event, what day it is, where it is, what time it is. Just some of the details that we had, and asked them to respond to Alex by 4th of August. And then after that, we'll make a quick determination, I guess, of how many are going to be able to attend.
I also made phone calls and then talked to the person and then said, I'm sending you an email, and sent it immediately after. So I knew who I was sending the email to, email address. So
Petroleum and Forest are the ones that got taxed before.
Forest, yes.
And then Plympton-Wyoming, right? Okay.
Did we give them like the numbers that would be needed for team and they were okay with that?
Yeah, so Forest asked for how many people and I said 4 to 5 for team. Yeah.
Is that what Chris said?
Well, it's different. He had a different number for Plympton-Wyoming because we have to actually operate the pump.
Okay.
So it's different for us because we need more bodies because we have to have somebody running the pump.
Yeah, because I thought he said like 6 to 8 or something.
Yeah, but for teams, they're just coming to play.
Gotcha, that makes sense.
The letter said 4 to 6 people. Teams of 4 to 6.
So we kind of have to sit and wait, I guess, until that particular time, but at least this is more promising than we were 5 minutes ago. So that's good. I reached out to the following companies, and I can tell you whether they are in or still waiting. So Enbridge, said yes. OPP Auxiliary is a yes. MPP Bob Bailey, Jessica, yes.
Reach out to him.
Is he yes?
So what is he doing?
Just showing up.
Oh.
I asked him if he could have a table. And he won't be manning a table, but he will be on the grounds just to be there. Transport Canada Office of Boating Safety. Most likely 99% yes, but I won't know till Wednesday. They are very, very thrilled at bringing out some boats and talking about boating safety and the do's and the don'ts, so they're quite interested. CN. A little bit difficult there. After talking to them, I finally got routed to the proper department that would put on these kind of events. I didn't work today, so I haven't checked my email at work, but they may be 50-50, so it's hard to say. And the other one I contacted was Jay Van Klinken, but he was away until yesterday, but he's not in the office today. So he's a no.
I reached out to him. That's the person at the county that I know, and he's busy.
What was he from?
The emergency response. County of Lambton.
Was he who we were thinking would have the trailer? Cause Chris mentioned something about still having a trailer, the safety trailer. Would that have been through Jay?
No, like he didn't have a trailer when I seen him. It's transportation.
So speaking of trailer, are you talking about the fire trailer? But we spoke for that first, right? We spoke for the fire safety trailer first, did we not?
What do you mean?
Yes,
Well-
and then Alvinston asked for it after us, so Chris was following up.
Okay. Just because it's advertised on their posters and everything already.
Oh,
Chris mentioned that that's another reason why we're trying to get more bodies from one,
Say, I don't think you're gonna have enough bodies.
because that's the main problem.
Not a lot signed up.
I think there's 6 in Wyoming and about 4 or 5 right now from Kamloops.
Yeah, because I noticed that on the weekend and they have it advertised on their.
I told Chris I'd call him after this meeting, so.
Okay.
oh, okay.
And then the other one I reached out to is Lambton Sportsman Club. They do gun safety and all that kind of stuff. Found them on the internet actually, and just been missing the phone call from the person, so I'll touch base with them tomorrow morning. So we definitely have some interest, but
Do you want me to follow back up with Century, because they were willing to come to do
oh
a
yeah,
fire extinguisher
yeah,
demo?
perfect. Yeah, I forgot about Century. Was there any other ones that we were thinking of contacting? I know in the minutes last month it had written in there Jacobs, but I don't remember that myself, but.
I have Red Cross and Lambton Farm Safety, Hydro.
Sorry, Hydro is maybe yes. I'm just waiting for confirmation by Wednesday on that one. The other one I could think of is Hydro. Yeah. Yeah, that one may be a yes, but I won't until Wednesday. Actually, the other one too that messaged me tonight and asked if they could attend because Enbridge was attending. Was Sun Canadian, so they're Sun Canadian Pipelines. They do have a few lines that run through this area, so they would like to participate as well.
I've also got down victim services and then Lambton Farm Safety.
So Lambton Fire Safety, we heard was a no. Farm Safety, yeah.
Oh, it was a no.
It was a no. Victim services, yeah, that, one was supposed to actually ask on that one. I'll ask him again. You never heard. No.
I didn't see anything in the minutes from last time. Did we get confirmation if that grant was successful for that?
The Hydro one.
Haven't, I'm aware of. Haven't seen anything on it.
I guess not.
We did have Satara's Donut, Bubbles Ice Cream and Big Daddy's Chip Truck and Satara's Donut, Bubbles Ice Cream and Big Daddy's Chip Truck all backed out. No food vendors. So. How did that go down then? Charlene? You had some ideas?
Yeah, like I called Plympton Health and no big deal about us bringing like barbecues or whatever. As long as the meat was on ice, bring extra utensils if something should fall on the ground and having a separate person for taking money and then cooking.
So in other words, if a group wanted to come in and set up their own barbecue and do hot dogs and hamburgers, then they can.
Yeah.
Even if it's a little group, but whatever.
Well, you would put a post, right?
I did,
Anything from that?
but that was just on my page too, so.
I know it's short notice, but do we ask the Lions if they wanna do it and keep the money?
You can reach out to them. Gary?
That was what I was gonna ask. What about the Lions Club if you've got nobody else?
Would be the best one is.
The obvious choice. What about the wee ones? Did you hear from them about selling popsicles or anything?
Heard silence. It's, summer's not a good time.
Yeah, it's true.
That's kind of what I'm finding in general with this date. In August, it's
Yeah.
just, people are everywhere busy.
Or they're on holidays and they can't, they don't have the staff or the manpower.
Especially mid-August.
If the Lions aren't interested, you can also ask the Optimists.
Who wants to ask them?
I can text someone from both. Mike, I can text Mike probably.
Yeah.
Or Lions, yeah.
Gonna put a date of when we'd like to hear back from them.
I'll tell Mike, tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
How long will it take to make a couple of phone calls?
So I guess at the end of it all, are we going to have an event? I honestly can't say. We'll know probably better by the end of the week.
But like, is it a make or break if we have more teams or not? Like, I think we have enough to put something on.
I think make or break will come down to firming up numbers from PW.
Yeah, true. Do you have a rough idea of how many people we have committed so far?
6 from Wyoming, 4 or 5 from Quebec. For solids. And push. So
Brad, what's your platform for promotion and advertising? Like, nobody's really heard anything out there that I'm hearing.
Well, see, I always like to have 30 days to do promotions on an event, and that is just not there.
We were on the back of, no, what's on the back of the Canada Day?
Yeah, there was some awareness put out for July 1st for the Canada Day event.
It was on the back of the bag.
Stay more,
stuffers.
more, stay tuned for more details. Probably given the time frame, I would say probably one ad in the paper, Facebook promotions in the area. And then the other spot that I have been talking to is radio advertising on all 3 stations for a couple days before the event.
Can we ask the fire department to put
Well-
it on their sign? If they're,
Forest has a sign, yeah, and I was also gonna say they also have their own Facebook pages too that we can send them.
yeah, hopefully they'll bring their own tier
I think
team.
you got a decent online reach if it's like the 4 departments. If we send something out to them to share online
Yeah.
and even like the organizations, groups that are involved.
We'll put a big window poster up downtown again, like we did.
One at the post office too, people. will-
We got some flyers that we'll definitely need to put around. Definitely by no means a time frame I would ever like to see for promoting an event, but
If
it is what it is.
if we know we're going ahead and we have some sort of handout, Cam Lackey's gonna be at the campground on Saturday for a touch and hug event at the campground, and I can hand them out there if we have something too. If they'll let me, but I'm sure they will.
Idea, and we can also put a big sign up at the trailer park at Reese's Corners. Those people are always looking for something to do, the campers and stuff too, so like where we don't usually put signs up, so.
So Fridays basically are yay or nay, it's happening day,
I think,
steam ahead.
I think we'll prepare as if we're moving ahead. And then whether we meet Friday night or whether we just, no, I can't Friday night, whether we just have a chat that's like we do with the weather. Go here and then,
So what if we don't have enough people from Wyoming, Cambodia?
What I'll do is I'll draft something that either Chris Freer or Chief Jordan can send out and basically say that we need committed numbers by Thursday, or else the event can't happen. Hopefully that lights a fire.
Most people know what they're doing by now.
Oh, yeah, that's the one advantage of being 2 weeks out is people. I don't know if they're-
if we do postpone the event, then the next logical, or that's not logical, the next earliest time we can have it would be after Thanksgiving in October, but is it getting too late? We just put it off a year, right? Those are the things that we have to decide come Friday. But there is some interest, not as much interest as I thought, but there is some interest.
I know Chief Freer mentioned that if it gets deferred or not, even if it goes ahead for next year, is putting together an actual committee at the fire department level between the two stations ahead of time.
Yeah, that's a good. Idea.
So Denny, I did have a motion here, what I talked to you about an expenditure for 500 awarded to the winning fire department. Yeah, should we still put that through pending that it goes through? Okay,
If it doesn't get spent, then that's fine.
okay. So in discussions with the committee, we were going to offer the winning team a cash prize. So that has to be officially brought forward as a motion, so. I have a motion here moved by Megan, seconded by Alex, that the special events committee approve an expenditure of $500 to be awarded to the winning fire department association of the water ball tournament. Is everybody in favor of that, if it goes ahead?
I don't know if it's necessary, but I mean,
And they can do what they want with it, you know, yeah.
I want to donate it back.
Let's see a show of hands again on that. Carried, okay, thank you. Anyone else have anything they want to talk about regarding the water ball tournament then at this point?
Well, should we play, like, what else needs to be done for it? Well, we're not scrambling, 2 weeks to go.
Well, I think we need to have a site visit to the fairgrounds to determine where it's going.
We see if somebody who's clean water ball will join us. Give input.
No, it's-
Yeah,
And what about, oh, any,
My suggestion for this is that you'd set aside like an extra amount of spending dollars. And that way you have money in case you have expenditures that you need to pay for,
especially marketing.
marketing and stuff like that, because if you don't have any motions of money put aside, like if you put aside $1,000 and you don't use it all, that's fine. At least then you have the committee's approval to spend that much money on this event for advertising, for whatever it may be.
Okay.
Can you let me know the number?
Yeah, just let me do some quick figures.
We probably have to buy water, et cetera. Right? Current water, it's to keep it, like if the guys are in their heavy cold, they're gonna need that water.
it'd be nice if somebody, well, yeah, for them, it'd be nice if somebody was selling off. Even just out of a cooler kind of thing for the crowd too, if it's gonna be hot out too, but yeah, you're right. Just drink on this. Well, you knew I was gonna say that.
So we'll
Yeah.
go to current water to get water from them and then go here and pick up some pop too.
Should we try seeing if Aqua's available? Is that fair? Or are they?
Yeah, in discussions with Kern, So remember we had a discussion a while ago, the pump that every time it's okay, this looks like it's brand new. Yeah, it's brand new every single time. So they can't really, they're not willing to donate anymore to us. We can buy it, but also I think we had a better price from Aqua.
Was Aqua gonna do it for free? Because remember they weren't available for our events, but Adam said that,
Oh, could be. I don't know that for sure. I know that the price Micah got for Aqua was good.
oh, okay. Maybe it
That was for the Canada Day stuff. though.
Okay.
But, he won't be at the event, Mike, anyway, so.
I think what Gord's saying is that the water will be an expenditure.
Oh, yeah,
towards
yeah.
the
So
water and pump, whatever.
really roughly penciling it out and adding some dollars in for what ifs. What if I say that we approve an expenditure for advertising, motions, or other supplies for the event in the tune of 1,600? I don't think we'll be anywhere near that, but that's kind of my very, very, very problem.
You know what we have in the bank account?
Like 13,545.
On this.
Oh, I see.
Very bottom.
I'd be willing to make that motion for you.
Seconder. All seconds it? Any discussion on that?
What's the breakdown of that?
I'm just roughly saying poster signs, if we do some radio advertising, Facebook, internet, water, and just supplies.
What was that number again, Brad? I'm sorry.
1,600. So it's moved by Gord, seconded by Jill, all in favor? Carried. Anything else that we should do then, Jenny, for?
I think that covers you for expenditures that may come up. That's been kind of the biggest. Trying to get money for things that are last minute, so I think the committee's approval on this amount gives you that cushion to do whatever you may need in a budget. If you don't spend it, then it.
Lead flags to the treasurer that there's something that's gonna have to be.
What about the equipment for the water ball?
From my understanding, Wyoming's got it in their home.
We know for sure that they do.
That's the last I was told.
In good shape.
Not a huge speak, I haven't seen it, but nice.
Oh, we'll trust that you'll check that out.
Yes. We'll be doing practice before, and if this happens, because Kimlaki Station hasn't done it.
Speaking of practice, was Lambton Fire School not interested as well?
I talked to them. I talked to actually girl once, and then about 3 weeks later, I called again and talked to. Who did I talk to? Well, it was somebody right at the school and stuff, and well, they thought it was a great idea. Stuff, so, okay, I'm sending you an email. Got it down here somewhere, Lambton College Fire School, and yeah, so, and I sent them an email, but no.
Okay, I guess that's it for water ball as of right now, anyway. 5.2 Canada Day summary, so our last committee meeting. We had just finished Canada Day, so we really didn't have time to sit down and digest the entire event, so in the meantime. We either met or we had email feedback on the event, so I compiled kind of everyone's thoughts on the whole thing. I've shared this with the committee already, but I'll just have a summary for here. So while we were fortunate to have the only day around that weekend that had sunny weather and not rain, which was a blessing in a way, it also worked against us to some extent. In the group's discussion submissions, two main points came out of it. The majority suggestion that a change of venue be considered back to McKay Park where there is shade and probably a better accommodation of all events being more visible was the number one. Number two, discussion to take place regarding whether to hold on the actual holiday, which is the first, or an alternate day. And it all depends on how much costs were covered by the grant. And I don't know, Danny, whether you would be able to tell us that, or,
The final stuff for the grant is not complete yet. We have 90 days from January. Basically. So we have till the end of September to get everything submitted to them. I've been working with Heritage Canada to try and get our account switched over, because the old account was under the former CIO's username stuff, so we don't have access right now. Trying to get a hold of somebody at Canada Heritage doesn't always ring easy. So I think I might have got somewhere today, but I don't know till tomorrow.
okay,
So does that mean this number is assuming like pretending we didn't get any money from the grant, like this 13,500?
No, the grant funding is allocated in there, that you got the grant funding, because when we spoke to Heritage Canada, basically everything that we listed should be covered. They're very vague, so they won't give you any definite answers, but should be covered based on their description.
so that's really. We went through the whole event, top to bottom, left to right and everything, and what was good and bad and what needs to be changed and all that, but that's the summary that we come out with anyway, so. That's what we'll work towards for 2020. They also have anything you want to throw in on that mix? 5.3 terms of reference question. So. This committee, I guess, is a very fluid committee. We make decisions on the fly because we don't know what happens from committee meeting here to committee meeting here. And I realize it's really nice to have in-person motions made. Now, there was some exceptions made for Canada Day just because of, suppose, I don't know.
It was timing for me. It was something, there's no meeting going to be had, a formal meeting before Canada Day was going to take place. So this was a way to get the committee to vote on something. But email motions are not something that is supported by our procedure bylaw with the town. And it's not something that you would find is acceptable under Robert's Rules of Order. But it is a measure of transparency and given the circumstance. But moving forward, we need to. That's why my suggestion for putting this expenditure amount was out there.
And I get that. I'm just not comfortable with that, and I'll tell you why, because. We make decisions on the fly, so it would be nice to have something written in the terms of reference that gives us the ability to. To be able to. Spend the money that the committee has allocated to it. And I understand that because it's public funds, we have to be very cautious and careful and open and transparent with it, but. If it's something that last minute, let's say the jelly ball thing that, hey, we need to know like right then and there, can we spend the $900 whatever to get it? As far as I'm concerned, this committee needs that flexibility to be able to do that. As long as it's not foolish expenditures, I guess that's where I'm kind of coming with the whole thing, and I don't know whether that's something that council can talk about and kind of see what options we do have available, just because we are very fluid, pretty much week to week on how these events set up and run. Is, we've had 3 incredibly successful events so far. And I think we've all been very prudent in what we spent and how we run it, but I just need a little bit of leeway, I guess, is what I'm asking. So I don't know how council can do that, but.
I also think though, we have to remember that staff are doing a lot of the fact that Denny was able to get back to us as quickly as he did during Canada Day,
On multiple.
I'm
motions.
surprised he was able to do that. So I think we have to also remember that staff have so much going on as well, that it's hard for them to even turn around all these motions. And I understand what you're saying, but I think if we just try to do what Denny has suggested where we set out a budget. So for example, if something falls through and now we have to find a jelly ball, theoretically, we would have reserved money for entertainment already anyways. So I do feel like if we at least try this way, I see it working, because if we reserve, let's say for picnic in the park, we have $4,500 for entertainment. And the reason why we have to do a last minute one is because we lose or something's not available anymore. We would theoretically still have that money to pull from. So I think it's worth a shot, in my opinion, and of course, it's just my opinion that we try it this way.
And don't get me wrong, I definitely appreciated working with the committee as fast as you did when you did, for sure. But yeah, no, I definitely appreciate everything you're doing. Don't get me wrong. By any means.
I think we just need to plan better. And now that we know this is how it is, we just plan accordingly. Like, we just need to adjust our mindset, and I think once we do, like, it'll be fine. Just prepare, right? We just plan for these things.
Like, we're 2 years into it and it's getting much easier because
Mhm.
you pretty much know what people want. So it is getting much easier in that respect.
Yeah, so
For
that'll
sure.
help, right?
And it might all work in nice and fluid. That's all. I was just trying to think of the what if scenarios. That's all.
Essentially with setting that budget like we just did for Water Ball Safety Day. You're ending up with the same result because you're getting the committee's consent to spend X amount of dollars. That gives you that $1,600 to spend fluidly. Whether you spend $5 on this item or $300 on this item. Your end result is going to be the same, whether you want the fluidity to spend money from the committee's fund. If you set a budget, then it also keeps better track of your spending as well.
True. I hate giving so I come up with 1,600. I hate giving a fake budget. I guess I hate doing that, but I have to look at it maybe as not a budget, just as a top limit expenditure.
This is also a new event.
Yeah.
So like you'll be better set up next year for your community day events and because you know exactly what you need for them. So it's gonna be easier to create a budget.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And also, like, previously, we've been very specific, like, whatever, $200 to Twisted Chris, and then we'd approve that, whereas we just lump it all together, it is easier with a one budget.
No, I'm fine with it. I just wanted to, I guess, show you my mindset on that. That was all. Anyone else have anything they want to throw into that? No. No. Moving down the list, number 8, new business outdoor movie nights. And you, Joe?
We haven't really talked about it too much. We did the last meeting, but summer's half over. We haven't had any. Didn't know if we were going to be planning any.
The weather is so crappy this year, as far as I'm concerned. An indoor one at some point, but I just have no faith right now in planning and moving forward, setting up a movie night when all of a sudden storms appear out of the blue and you got a 26-foot screen that is rather a big sail with a little bit of wind. I know that's what you get when you get outdoor movies, but there's also the expenditure of the license and all that other stuff, so we haven't really talked about it very much right now, but I have no thoughts on my brain for that right now, to be honest. 8.2 trivia nights. Yes, we've had some requests about when they're starting up again. Probably my guess would be October, November. But I have to check with Matt, the convener of them, just to find out his schedules. December, obviously, no. January, probably no, but February, March, April seemed to be all successful last year. The earliest I would think of it, because of the fall fair season, I would probably start back up in October. Mid to end October. My thought is, but I won't know any more of that until I talk to Matt. Halloween spectacular, again, same thought. We have not given any time to thinking about it. So what's your thoughts on it, I guess?
I almost think if we're doing spectacular, do we also want to commit the committee to a trivia night in the same month?
Do we have an idea for what Christmas in the Village will be in terms of budget?
In terms of,
Costs for the committee, like how do we know how much Christmas in the Village we're gonna be spending, or a rough idea, depending to see where we're even at budget wise?
I don't. No.
I'm just wondering if we want to make sure we have enough for Christmas in the Village.
In years past, if I may. In years past, it's been pretty low cost. I think the town has had to put out the expenditure for the horse and the horse-drawn carriage rides. To clear, they've been doing. Okay.
$300.
So it's pretty low cost.
It's a low-cost event. Christmas in the Village is a low-cost event. Has been.
I just want to make sure we have enough for that, because I love that.
well, it's gonna change quite a bit, but I don't wanna jump into that just yet. So Halloween spectacular, it was, somewhat successful last year, but again, it was our first time doing it. So I don't know whether we want to just talk about that as subcommittee level. Again, I hate to start something and all of a sudden hold off the next year. But I myself won't be around for that particular event anyway, but that doesn't mean I can't help plan, you know. We'll just put that on a tabled list then for right now. Christmas in the Village is moved back a week or ahead a week, sorry. That's just way you look at it, I guess. Moved further into December, right? I myself would like to have a subcommittee meeting with Daisy and the our committee with that group there to find out where their heads at. We kind of were brought in last year at say the last minute, maybe. We didn't have much to do with it. We were there more to observe, I think, really last year.
I don't know, to me, it was just like they handed it to us, and said, here, you do it, and we said, what are we supposed to do? Oh, well, we've already done it. It was just, that's kind
I
of.
think, when did council change? October, November?
Over 26, but
Yeah.
we went in November.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of why it just kind of, the event just happened.
Well, the Lions
Timing,
always held it before. And I think that they just decided, well, since the town's got this committee, that we can do it, which is fine. We were happy to do it, but they kind of said, well, here's what we did. And that was it. So, and we just kind of picked it up from there. But we really didn't plan anything new or anything like that.
I think it would warrant having a meeting with them as well, just so all the players are on the same page. Any groups that were involved, so
Mhm.
there's no confusion.
I think I would like to start out with just them first and then kind of find out where their heads at and then I'll bring everyone else in, maybe.
With the Lions?
They're just one of the vendors, right?
But they're the main ones, as far as I'm concerned. Really, because it's been on their property.
Yeah, I always thought they were the ones who held it.
Just Mike who spearheaded it, like Mike did everything.
Right. Exactly.
And then
So,
he passed it out, like he's not really involved in it anymore.
yeah, that's what I mean. So I guess I just thought that because Mike was Alliance, didn't we have a meeting in January? Where we invited the other vendors to come to give us their feedback and nobody came?
Right. Yep.
So, but I still think it's probably a good idea. See what the lines, so we're not stepping on each other's
Well, yeah,
toes. So talk to Mike.
I think you have targeted for that.
it's for a meeting, none.
Christmas in the Village tonight.
Yeah, it's the second
Second
Saturday.
Saturday compared to the first, because And I think we've already checked with the Lions and they were okay with that already. That time frame. They were on board with that, so. You know, there was definitely some things that we saw last year that can be improved on for sure. I did not get the sense of being Christmassy. And that's one of the things that we have to change. Is more of a Christmas feeling to it. I just want to find out from the Lions Club first before we talk to really anyone else, kind of. Where they're going, what they would like to see, what they're okay with seeing. And what they definitely would want to see, I guess, so.
I heard it's the person that we try to get that meeting early in September.
Yeah, the earlier the better, for sure.
Early in September.
Yeah. Cause if I'm reading this right, if we don't do Halloween, that's our next event.
Well, trivia night's October and November.
We have Ray was saying, we shouldn't be having trivia night in October when we're trying to have spectacular, best or whatever we want to call it.
Well, I'd say one or the other would my thought.
And then if you go and.
I agree with you, Megan.
But I thought trivia, like I wasn't that spectacular, but it sounded like trivia was a lot more successful than spectacular.
By far.
Yes, we had
By far.
trivia both in Wyoming and Kentucky too, though.
Yeah, and I would still
So-
do that because it's their own unique set of crowd.
That's what people are wanting.
Yeah.
They want that.
Yeah.
They wanted that more than spectacular.
Yeah,
It was an observation.
because we do have a lot of kid events, and that's been our only like adult event.
Yeah, I would much sooner concentrate on the trivia nights over the spectacular.
And it's a lot less effort on our behalf.
Sure, I make a phone call.
Yes.
Yeah,
Maybe we focus on that for October, November. Only.
I am perfectly fine with that, so. But yeah, I think as soon as, if you're talking to Mike anyway, right, about,
Yeah, so he already texted me back saying he's gonna find out.
so then maybe when, yeah, we'll just find out what time they have available. For a subcommittee, just a informal chat is all I want, really. You know. Getting all of the groups and all that, Denny, last year that were extra groups involved. Challenge or an easy, yeah, no problem, we're coming anyway, or,
Groups is in like.
well, yeah, the Legion or the carolers or,
It wasn't really me that led getting them.
oh, okay.
I think it was Alex, you sent out the email to the groups.
I'll find it.
No, I don't mean for the review,
Oh,
right? I mean, just to solicit getting them involved in the first place. I don't know whether the town did all that themselves and then,
I think Mike did.
Mike Vasey did it.
oh, okay.
Yeah, because when we voted to take on the event.
Yep.
He sent all the. back into us.
Okay, there you go.
That's what I mean, that's why I think it was kind of a bit of a mess, because when he was still on our committee, he was still, and then council changed, rules changed, and
Okay. Well, that makes sense. And if you just basically said, here's the book, see you later.
Well, he stuck around, but
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, but okay. Okay. So yeah, if you want to touch base with them, just when we can start talking. The only other thing I had was really financials, but I see that we do have, financials here, and there's that. Denny probably is up to date, as you know,
That's up to date as of today.
as of today. And then you have some expenditures.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things from Canada Day on the side of my fridge that I keep forgetting to put in. It's not much, so. Just stuff from Amazon.
So if I'm reading that right, then Denny, we have approximately a little over 13. Available.
$13,545.68. If Heritage Canada came back and said you're not covered for anything that you submit, you're gonna take $5,000 off that.
11,445 minus the 1,600 plus 500 that we just approved for.
Look at you. Does anyone else have anything that they would like to add?
If we have a trivia night in October, we could make it a Halloween trivia night.
Hear that Matt has a Halloween themed.
We're trying to make it a bit of a Halloween party too, it doesn't
Yeah, we
have to
could-
be big, but give it a theme.
And then, yeah, so we can talk about that. later.
Yeah.
Sure, before you- Okay. If no one has anything else, then I have a motion here moved by Megan, seconded by Jill.
Ask a question first.
Yeah.
Okay, if we get the go ahead on August fourth, which is Friday, would we have a subcommittee meeting next week? Close to the 12th.
Yeah, we probably would have to be something on the weekend, whether it's just on our chat group. Something like that, yeah, because then I would need help with the advertising, putting posters up and whatever, you know. So.
Yeah.
Should we maybe have a plan in our pocket if the Lions don't want to do the barbecue?
I'll go Lions then Optimist.
Maybe. Okay, so a motion here moved by Megan, seconded by Jill, that the special events committee be adjourned until the next special events committee meeting commencing September 2023 at 7 p.m. All in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay,